Founder 2.0, Rachel Lynch.
Thanks.
Congratulations,
So
friend.
Go Rachel, good job. It's awesome.
So excited for you. I wonder if you could just take a few minutes and talk to us about your journey and some of your, I don't know, just some of the miracles that were created and how you're able to move some mountains to create Founders 2.0.
All right. So I wasn't expecting to talk on this video on a Zoom today, but here I am.
Well, it can
so
be
I'm
quick.
kind of outside in my element right here. But yeah, so when we hit Blue Diamond in November, our intentions really had not been focused on going for a founder spot at all, because I guess I did not have the mindset for it. And there had been a lot of things happened over the years, and I'm just like, nope, that's not for me. I'm not going for it. And then when we hit Blue Diamond in November, and we went to the presidential and Blue Diamond, I think my mindset shifted during that time for sure. And so I just started seeing bigger things happening. And so we had a talk with Emily Wright talked to us. I know you and Natalie talked to us, and Laura and Jerry, and just lots of people, and just gave us that encouragement to push for it. And so we came, and actually I was kind of even embarrassed to say we only had 135 points, and that was the first part of December. And I'm like, there's no way, this is stupid. This is not even possible. But we came home and we just got laser focused on, okay, we are going to do this. And so I connected with all of my team, and it's like, okay, we're pushing for a new goal. Who thinks we can do it? Who wants to do it with us? And we had just moved to Indiana, so we connected with new neighbors around here, and they got me connected with all kinds of people, and we just started going after it full force. Yeah. What else is there to say besides it was crazy? And I was not expecting it until I got laser focused. And I think the thing was shifting our mindset, and instead of just saying there's no way, but say there is a way, and I'm going to make it happen. And that was huge for us.
Beautiful. Well, congratulations. We're so proud of you and the team that you're leading and creating, and just miracles abounding. So way to create
Absolutely.
it.
It's so true, Rachel. And we've seen it happen with that mindset shift. And I love the way you just make God a part of whatever you create, right? I know that's a huge part of what you do. And then the mountains began to move. And
they do.
And whether those of you that are on the call or listening today, I hope that you can remember whatever it is that you desire to create, you can apply these same principles that Rachel did, and we are watching it happen. I just watched this past month, 15 people running for founders hit ranks that they never thought were possible in timeframes that they never thought were possible, right? So just opening up our minds and eyes and to the possibilities changes everything. It changes so much. So super happy for you, Rachel. And I know Christian Risenmay from our team will be recognized soon as well. So we got a great group of people coming up and moving into those Founders 2.0. And great leaders all over, wherever you are, whatever your dreams and goals are, opening your mind up to the possibility of them again is powerful. We've just watched a leader come into doTERRA and go diamond in 3 months. And she was prepared. She did lots of work outside of doTERRA to prepare for this moment, and had lots of contacts and lots of people in the wings. And each of you as seasoned leaders and builders, you've got that to draw from, and you can create from that from now going forward. I know that as part of any other celebrations that you guys want to add in, drop it in the chat, or shout it out. I know that we had some great traction from the PB Assist BOGO at the end of the month and having some good back to summer specials. And then we're hoping to see something amazing to finish up August. So watch for something amazing. Oh, good celebration. Allie did the trust fall and didn't buy in to get her 1,500 and let it go. That is going to be powerful to see the results from that. Super excited to hear, right? Now's the trust fall part where you're like, oh, this is painful. Did I hit the ground or not? But I think you'll be able to see amazing results going forward. Awesome, awesome. I wish I could share with you the total energy of what happened yesterday. We had a recap call for those 15 people that were going founders, and it was the most amazing thing. It was really powerful because of the sacrifice that each of them had made, and how, because they were stretching big, they were learning how to partner and create big. And it was so, so powerful. And so any of these stretches I know will be rewarded with goodness. And I also it was like big messy cries and ugly cries at the same time. So I just want to do a shout out for even my backdrop. Like, when our doTERRA life and our life experience looks like this green amazing on one side, but then there's another side that looks like crap. It looks like this side and it's got it's kind of brown and gray and maybe not put together. Just taking that highlighter around what's working and highlighting that and giving that the energy is so, so amazing. So let's see, I just want to hit on a couple other things for August and mindset wise and strategic calendar. Give me 1 second. Okay, so just coming back to where we are right now, as we start out this month, I love the strategic planner and dialing into, where we're at. We're smack dab in the middle of third quarter, right here in August. And a lot of times in this season, we have found great strength in rank training and personal development. So check in real quick. Where are you in those realms? Where are you on your personal development? What are you creating right now to prepare you for this next season? And rank training, do you have people rolling into any? I love this time of year because it helps people get set for doing a walking at convention, right? And it helps them get their mindset. So anybody that still hits in August, you could go to your account rep and say, hey, can we make sure, I know that this person, that the deadlines were July, are you willing to recognize this person, right? And so if that is happening or lining up, talk to your account rep ahead of time so that that's all getting dialed in, okay? I think that's super key. And with the special, the 100, 100, 100 this month, I think it's critical to be doing some focus on enrolling, right? During this season. I know a lot of people are like, hey, I'm watching those running for founders and those ready to create in doTERRA again that have taken a little breather for whatever reason and are coming back at it, they are saying, okay, I need, this person has one good partner and we need 2 other good partners. Where are we going to find that? Brainstorming with that leader, connecting with that leader, finding what they want to create and creating that with them. It's a really powerful time to do that. And what I've seen over the past 60 days is that maybe it's mattering right now more than it has in the past, is some of these specials, because of inflation and how people are thinking financially, some of these specials that have come into place are making a difference for people. So we did like 3 days of a half what you invest on an enrollment kit is going to come back to you. You invest in your health and we're going to invest back in you. That helps some people get started that hadn't gotten started before. Some of these running for founders, we're doing an order match. Like if people had 100 PV set up on their LRP, they would say, hey, you double that to 200 on things that you haven't experienced yet in doTERRA, and we're going to invest in you. We want to help you experience that, and we'll Venmo you back that double match part, right? And that has gotten a lot more people using, experiencing, and just more exposure. We've got some good feedback coming in from those that were doing even a double, like you buy a Meta Power and a Lifelong Vitality, and then you double that and we'll pay for the double for 1 up to 3 months if you choose, right? So one team was doing that for 90 days just to help their people get on LLV and Meta Power as their baseline. And they've just had incredible conversion and got now husband and wives that used to be taking half a dose and not getting as much great results from it as fast, not seeing those results as fast because they're taking a half dose. Now they're getting full dose and they're seeing the results and having good feedback. So one of those teams is at 82% LRP. So some great things that you can do and you can create in there. As you're stretching for goals, one more thing, and then I'm going to turn the time over to Zac, our specialist. We're so happy that he's with us here today. So just one other insight. So Christian, getting to Founders 2.0, he came up with this concept of, hey, what if we take the oil collection kit and
Did you know you're muted, Natalie?
You're muted.
yeah, so I'm trying to get a photo so I can show you real quick of what Christian did. So he basically took the essential oil collection, the full 1750 PV kit, and he said, hey, you invest in this for $1,900, we'll rebate you back half of that. So they helped and got that to people. It made it so that every oil in that collection was about $12 each. And he was able to finish up his rank goal with that. So they had like 6 of those go down, and that finished the volume there. And he just had people, hey, whoever got the fast starts, we're putting that back in towards the rebate back, right? So it was about a $600 investment to help somebody get all of those oils and get exposed to all those oils and have that 1750 PV. Does that make sense? I'll throw an image of that in the chat. And totally, Ron, you could think that way. A lot of times what we've found is if we can help grease the tracks, whatever that looks like. And right now, in a different economy, it might look a little different. So opening up our minds, our hearts, as we work with team members, as we assess needs, what is it that's needed, right? And could you, whoever that is, even below gold, could they partner with their upline and bridge that gap? Absolutely, right? So there really is nothing stopping us. The question is, what do you want to create? And with that, I want to turn the time to Zac, because he came to an experienced doTERRA not long ago. He shared some basic principles about storytelling that just changed us. And so I'm super excited for you to experience that, and those that join us later as well. Zac, take it away.
I'm muted. I'm talking to myself. Thanks so much.
Oh, awesome.
I appreciate your patience with me while I jump on here today. How's it going, everybody? Give me a thumbs up, some comments in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling
We
today.
are thumbs up in it.
I'm
Awesome
excited.
day.
I'm excited to share some things with you that I think you're gonna love, and I want to get another thumbs up from you. Let me just make sure I have permission to share my screen here. Perfect. Let me know when you can see my screen, you guys. All right, perfect. So what we're gonna do here today, we're gonna go on a little adventure together. I call it narrative wars. Suppose I wanted to convince you to wear a helmet when you ride a motorcycle. The way I see it, I've got two options. Option number one, I could give you the facts. I could tell you that it's going to reduce your chances of injury in an accident by 30%. It will reduce your chance of death in an accident by 25%. I could give you the information from the National Safety Council on why helmets are beneficial, or I could tell you that when I was 12, I got in an accident on my motorcycle. I was in the street, turned on my motorcycle, didn't realize it was in gear already when I turned it on. And as soon as I pulled the throttle, I shot across the street, hit a curb, fell back and hit my head on the concrete. Luckily, I was wearing a helmet. It didn't save my hand from being broken in the spokes of the tire or my side from getting ripped up by the wheel against me, but it saved my life and my head. And when I went back into my garage a few days later, I saw this big scuff mark on the back of the helmet where I'd hit the asphalt. When my son started riding a bike, I told him that story. I said, Easton, you always have to wear a helmet because, and this is why. And to this day, he wears a helmet every single time he hops on a bike. And when his friend comes out not wearing a helmet, he says, hey, when my dad was 12, he got in a motorcycle accident. If he wasn't wearing a helmet, he could have died. And he is preaching the good word for me. It's my little storyteller. My name is Zac, you guys. I founded a company called The Storytelling Habit. I teach people how to make change with their words. I teach businesses and individuals who want to change the world, who want to spread their ideas, their products or services, how to do so with the power of story. Because stories shape the world. Stories shape the narratives internally, externally. Everything about our world is shaped by the stories we tell ourselves and that we tell to each other. The perception that people have of you and what opportunities and products you're offering them are shaped by the stories that they've heard from other people. It's not even from their own experience. I have a good friend who recently went through some major health challenges, and they just kept feeling so dissatisfied with the solutions that were being given to them. The different medicines and the professionals and doctors that they went to, people that they trust, and they felt like they were receiving good insights, but they just weren't getting the results that they want. Finally, a friend came to them and said, you should try some essential oils. You should try going to some more holistic, toxic-free methods of living. And this friend said, over my dead body, would I be doing that? And I go, whoa, what's with the animosity here, my friend? What's going on? And they said, oh, the stories that I've heard. And I said, but here's the thing. Your life is already in a bad spot. I don't really know what you have to lose here. But that story the stories that they hear were so profound in shaping their perception that even when they're presented with a good option, they wouldn't go that way. Even when their life is in shambles, they wouldn't change it. They wouldn't do the thing that's not working because a story had convinced them that a more positive path was even worse. Stories shape everything around us. And stories are precisely what we're going to be talking about today. Most people think that it's the facts that convince, but in reality, the facts don't change much. It's the stories. It's not facts, it's feelings. It's not stats, it's storytelling. As an example, a girl painted this portrait that you see on the screen here and posted it to a Reddit channel of one of her favorite video game characters. And it got 367 likes. So 367 people saying, wow, that's a great painting. She later goes back and posts this picture of her holding the painting. So she shows, in other words, the story behind the painting. And you can see the difference. It went from 367 likes to 70,000 likes simply by showing, hey, look, it's not just the painting. I'm the person who made the painting. Let me take you behind the scenes and show you the story behind the painting. This is a video we're going to get to a little bit later on in this presentation. But what I want to say for now is story is not just a convenient tactic you can use to persuade people or to share information or educate them. Storytelling is our entire strategy. Everything revolves around a story. That story being you have a character or a person who is facing a set of problems, who needs a plan that they can follow in order to get to their promised land. That's your customers. They are the hero in their life. They're facing problems and they need someone, a guide. They need their Obi-Wan Kenobi. They need their Gandalf the Wizard. They need somebody to come and give them a plan to get from where they are to their promised land. Storytelling is not just a tactic. It is the entire strategy for how we create change in the world and how we grow our businesses. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller, Steve Jobs has said. And to just illustrate this point a little bit further, consider the world map for a moment. This is a quote unquote upside down world map. In the chat though, tell me, why is this not the map that we use? Why do we not use this one? Is something wrong with it? Is there an issue? Is it broken? Are the locations wrong? Did we spell something incorrectly? No, someone told us a story that it needed to be the other way. Like, it doesn't really matter. If you go to space, there's not like a top and a bottom and a left and a right side of the earth. It all depends on your vantage point, your perspective. The story we've been telling for years and years is that the map is the other way. It could just as easily have been positioned like this, with Australia and Argentina and Brazil up north and all the rest of us down south. The storyteller is the most powerful person in the world. They set the agenda. They determine the narrative for generations and societies and cultures. Your ability to tell stories will change everything about your business. Companies are defined by their stories, and you're never going to kill storytelling because it's built in the human plan. We come with it. There's a billionaire, a really, really rich guy who started a lot of companies. His name is Jesse Itzler. And Jesse Itzler said recently, my biggest regret in life is that I have not journaled more. I said I haven't written down or documented my stories. Because when you die, guess what's going to happen at your funeral? People are going to tell your stories. All you can really do to influence that event is give them stories to tell, is document what's happening in your life. It's document the things that you do and the projects you work on and the challenges that you overcome so that they can share those things, so they can tell them to your children and your grandchildren and your grandchildren's children. We come with storytelling. It's not the other way around. Stories are all that we leave behind when we're gone. So it's worth learning how to tell better ones. You guys with me? You excited? Get some thumbs up in the chat or the comments. A little I'm stoked. Awesome. Cool beans. I love it. All right. So the key to making change in a competitive world is through storytelling. How do we do it though? That's the question, is how do I go from where I am, whether you're a complete novice, you've never told a story in your life, or you feel like you're okay, you've got a couple of stories you've told in your life that you feel all right about. How do you go from that to speaking and thinking in story, to being so captivating in your communication that people just can't get enough? You're impossible to ignore. That's the question that we're going to answer today. And to do so, we need a villain. Every story needs a villain, my friends, and this one is no different. So I'd like to introduce you to the villain of today's story, and that's this guy right here. All right. This little guy, this little sloth in a tuxedo with some money. I had these images drawn up by AI, by the way. I said, draw me a tuxedo, a sloth in a tuxedo with a burning pile of money. Okay. This is sameness. His name is Sameness, and you see him right now. He's out in the sea of sameness. And what he does is he finds people with dreams and hopes and ambitions, people like you and me. And he lures you out into the sea of sameness with this pile of cash. And then once you get out there, once you're out there in the sea of sameness, looking and sounding like everyone else, he lights that pile of cash on fire, and all of your hopes and dreams go with it. And today I'm going to arm you with the tools you need to defeat sameness so that you can be the hero of your story. To do that, I'm going to share with you a story. My wife and I were recently house hunting. And specifically, we went to Florida. We wanted to find a place to live in Florida. So we did the usual searching for real estate agents. We found a couple of people that basically said, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm a real estate agent. And we're going to call this real estate agent Stacy. Said, hi, I'm Stacy. I'm a real estate agent. I can help you find a house. I said, okay, that's great. Thank you, Stacy. And we found a couple other people that basically said the exact same thing. But then we found another guy. This is Juan. Juan is brilliant because Juan has a YouTube channel, and he shares his stories on his YouTube channel for the whole world to see. And he talks about how he moved from a cold place, Detroit, Michigan, and he found this beautiful, warm land of Florida, and he took his kids there. And I thought, I have kids. I live in a cold place. Oh my gosh, Juan is like me. Which real estate agent do you think we met up with when we went to Florida to house hunt? Juan. It was a no-brainer because Juan told his story, and I could see myself in his story. The other real estate agent said, I sell real estate. And I said, okay, you and 500 other people get in line. I want to know which real estate agent understands me most, because here's the thing. People do not buy the best products. Never have, never will. People buy from the companies who understand them best. And the way you show your understanding is with a story. Bear with me one moment, folks, while I plug in my computer here. I don't want to lose you. Perfect. In this narrative war, the sea of sameness took Stacy and all the other realtors down, burned the ships, lit the money on fire, and Juan was the victor of this narrative war. Now, what about service-based businesses? And I'm going to get to doTERRA in a little bit, but what about a service-based business? Like you provide a service for somebody. Maybe you have a business like this, or your friends or family, somebody you love has a business like this. I want to introduce you to Stan. Stan is an accountant, and he, like most other accountants, says, hi, I'm Stan. I'm an accountant. I can help you with your money. Get in line, Stan. There's a lot of people that are accountants. In fact, there's new people starting accounting businesses every single day. This is one of my good friends and clients. His name is Landon. And Landon, well, he doesn't introduce himself by saying, I'm an accountant. Landon says, you know, I used to work in a private equity company with tons of cash. We were flush with money. But then the owners of the company misused the funds, lost it all, and hundreds of people, myself included, got laid off simply because of bad accounting practices, which is such a shame because it's such a simple thing that if you do it right, could have preserved hundreds of people's jobs. So I, Landon, set out on a mission to make sure that no other company ever has to do that to their employees ever again. Which accountant are you working with? Hi, I'm Stan, the accountant, or Landon, the warrior, the man on a mission who has experienced the pain of a company having to lay off 100 people because their accounting practices are subpar. In this narrative war, sameness took out the other accountants, lured them out into the middle of the sea, burned the ships, burned the cash, and Landon was the victor of this particular narrative war. What about your education businesses? I want you to think about yourselves for a minute, because ultimately that's one way to look at what you guys do at doTERRA, right? Is we're educating people, we're teaching them ways to approach their health differently. I want to introduce you to nutritionists. Most nutritionists say, I'm a nutritionist. I help you eat well, be healthy, live a long, vibrant, healthy life. And that's nice. There's a lot of nutritionists out there and they can make a big difference for you. But I want to introduce you to Kelsey. Kelsey has a great story. She says, Kelsey used to work as a nurse practitioner in a hospital. And she watched as patient after patient after patient came to the doctors with these terrible health problems that affected their life. And she watched as doctor after doctor after doctor would say, here, take these pills, here, take this medicine, here, take this prescription, here, do this test. Meanwhile, Kelsey's thinking to herself, they just need to eat better. They just need better food in their bodies. They need better nutritional habits. Let's get to the root problem here. And let's ask people, what are they eating? And what are they putting into their bodies every day? The doctors that she worked with refused, though. Fortunately, not all doctors take that approach, but the doctors she worked with did. So Kelsey quit her nurse practitioner job and she started a nutrition education company, teaching people how to address the root of the problem. My wife worked with Kelsey and changed her life completely. And it was because of Kelsey's story that my wife felt connected to her and was willing to pay her every single month. In this narrative war, all of the average nutritionists who say, I can help you with your health, with your nutrition, with your fitness, they drowned in the sea of sameness. And only Kelsey made it out on top. Every single client I work with says the same thing, though, when I go through this exercise, when I meet with them and we start to craft their story. And you might be thinking the very thing that I'm about to say. But everybody I work with says, my story is not that interesting. I don't have some interesting man in a hole, rags to riches, Cinderella story to share with people. I haven't been to the bottom and climbed my way back up to the top. I haven't lost everything. I haven't been laid off, or maybe you have. Regardless of your experience, most people, even when they do have those kinds of fascinating cinema-like experiences, they say to themselves, my story's not that interesting. And first of all, are you kidding? Second of all, you do have a great story to tell. Every single person here has a story that will make the people you want to serve say to themselves, I need to take this seriously. All you need to do is take your life experiences and zoom in on them. Zoom in. Every story is comprised of 3 key moments. It's not the grandness or the epic quest or the tremendous loss or fight or failure that makes the story interesting. It's these 3 key moments I'm about to describe to you. Moment number 1 is people want to see the moment of change. You were living your life. You were living your status quo everyday life when something changed. Big or small, there was a moment, just a small, ordinary moment of change. What was that? That's moment number 1. If you show us the moment of change, big or small, and how it affected you internally, your emotional state, you've got us hooked. That's number 1. The second moment that makes a story fascinating to us is the moment of decision. And this is where the whole story rests. And it's often a tiny, 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 tiny moment. It's often a little internal battle you had with yourself where you had to make an important decision, a decision to let go of your past judgments or opinions or way of living and to try something different. The story begins with your background, status quo, and then a moment of change. That's how you hook us, but then you make us care. You help us connect with you when you tell us about the challenge that change introduced into your life and the moment of decision. The third moment that brings it all full circle is the moment of consequence. After you've made your decision, we watch the action play out. We see what happened, and that's all fine and good. This is where people think that the interesting stuff is in the action, quote unquote, but it's not that. It's the moment of consequence when everything comes full circle and when you have to face a new world, a new worldview, a new version of yourself. So you might think to yourself, my story is not that interesting, but I promise you, if you take your story, any story from your life, and you zoom in on what was the moment of change, the moment when everything changed, nothing would ever be the same again. What was the moment of decision? And then what was the moment of consequence where my world and worldview was altered forever? And just illustrate those tiny little moments. Often they don't even happen in the outside world. They happen here. But that's beautiful because that's what we can relate to, is what happens here. Nobody can relate perfectly to your circumstances, but everybody can relate to the internal dialogue in your head. And that's the dialogue that we ultimately want to meet up with in the mind of the people who we seek to influence. Let me check the, in so many ways, I'm just checking the chats here. I want to share this recording with others. In so many ways, we are a service-based business. Selling emotional breakthroughs, symphony of cells, aroma touch technique, trust. Love the comments, guys. Keep them coming. I'll give you one more example to show that everybody has a story to tell. How come I can't get this little chat bubble to go away? There we go. Let's suppose we're going eyeglass shopping. Okay, we're gonna take a look at two companies here. First, we're gonna take a look at I believe this is Lens Crafters. Yeah, Lens Crafters. Lens Crafters on the homepage of their website says, discover the new collections. It's our 40th anniversary. Celebrate in style with the latest designer sunglasses and eyeglasses. You guys know what nobody in the history of the world has ever said or ever done? Nobody has ever woken up in the morning and said, sweetie, it's Lens Crafters' 40th anniversary. Let's go eyeglass shopping. That conversation has never happened. Nobody cares. This is not a story. This is just information. This is facts, right? It's our 40th anniversary. We've got new glasses. Come celebrate in style. That doesn't connect with people, though. On the other hand, you have Warby Parker. Warby Parker tells you a story about yourself in their marketing. Try on 5 frames without leaving your home. Now that's interesting. In fact, one of my coworkers, a former colleague of mine, I should say, his daughter needed a new pair of glasses. So he says, oh, let's go to the store and pick some out. She said, don't worry, Dad. I went to Warby Parker. They're sending 5 glasses here to the house. We don't have to go anywhere. And he said, well, look at that. So even though there's not a fascinating origin story going on here or a conquest of any kind, there's a simple story about the customer. There's a vision here that they can see themselves in. Try on 5 frames without leaving your home. I can see myself doing that. I can't see myself celebrating the 40th anniversary of Lens Crafters. That just doesn't have any personal relevance to me. But I'll try on 5 frames without leaving home. That I absolutely will do. What you saw there is what I call the company. Most businesses have like a company mission statement, right? Like this is what we're trying to achieve. I personally don't care for company mission statements because they're only exciting when they're created and then they fizzle out with time. I'm a big fan of what Warby Parker did there, which is the customer mission statement. It is the statement of what the customer is on a mission to do when they give you money. Think about this for a moment. Every business has a mission statement for themselves. They're like, yeah, this is our mission. And guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your mission. But they care about their mission. They care about what they want to do. So what you need to do is you need to articulate, what is the mission that my customer is on when they buy from me? When money changes hands, when a service or a product is given, what is the mission that the customer is trying to fill? You will find so much more clarity and so much more persuasive power when you articulate the mission of the customer than you ever will articulating your own personal mission. Your story serves to connect you with people, but your persuasive ability comes from your ability to articulate what the customer's story is, what they are trying to achieve in their life. In this narrative war, Sameness took out LensCrafters. He said, oh yeah, 40th anniversary, come celebrate on my boat out here in the Sea of Sameness. And then he lit the thing on fire, and Warby Parker won this narrative war. The number one reason businesses fail, big or small, one-man businesses, 1,000 people businesses with billions of dollars of funding, is you don't know how to tell a story that makes your product or service feel personal. That's really all there is to it. You just don't know how to make it feel personal to people. If you want to do that, draw this diagram right here. Simply tell people a story about a time you were in your comfort zone, something triggered a change in your world, sent you into crisis, and then you used doTERRA to help you recover and get to a better place. This is the story. This is the framework right here. You tell this story, instant relevance for people. Anyone who's experienced a similar comfort zone trigger and crisis will see themselves in your story, and they will pay attention. They will listen. They will let go of past judgments and preconceived notions, and they will hear what you have to say. I tried to start my own marketing agency back in 2020. March 2020, by the way, was a great time to start a business. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that. I'm being sarcastic, of course. It was a terrible time to start a business. About 4 months in, I completely ran out of cash, and it was a disaster. So I put my head down and I went back to my old job and I said, please, please, please let me be a salesman. I promise I will blow you away. I will sell the pants off this thing. And I did. I had a great summer that year. But it's because in the moment of crisis, I went and I found a guide, somebody to help me get out of the slump, get out of the change. And this is my friend right here. His name's Kevin. He gave me some pointers, some feedback. He gave me advice. He sort of took me as the hero of my own story. He gave me tools that allowed me to climb to new heights. And I want you to look at this picture, hear the story, and see yourself as Kevin, as the guide, as the friend, as the person who's going to help somebody else who's in a crisis right now and lift them up and give them tools, give them an opportunity. That's how you position yourself to be successful in your efforts, is you are the guide, they are on a mission, and you're simply giving them tools and resources and support to overcome the obstacles in their mission. 3 secrets I want to close this out with and share with you. Number 1, you don't have to be smart enough to manipulate people. You have to be sincere enough to move them. I recently finished working. I recently walked away from a company that I'd been the CEO of for about 13 months. And when I first became the CEO, objective number 1 is earn the trust of the people. You know, when leadership changes, it can be tumultuous. It can be a difficult time for people that were there. So I needed to find a way to earn the trust of this team that I was now the leader of. So what did I do? I pulled out a story from my story bank. I told them about a customer that I really messed up with in a not too distant past. I told them a story about a customer I'd messed up with, disrespected, and who got quite angry at me. And I showed them the fall and rise of how I made the mistake, lost the customer's trust, and then how I responded to it. And that one story, rather than me telling them about all my accolades and why I deserved to be the CEO and why I was a great person, I told them about a mistake that I'd made in a moment of vulnerability, of weakness of mine, and how I worked to overcome it. And instantly, every single person at the company was behind me. It was like magic, because I shared a story about a mistake I'd made, a hole I'd gotten myself into, and how I managed to get out of it. Secret number 2 is you have to demonstrate empathy. You might think I don't have the credibility to be successful, but you can win with less credibility if you demonstrate more empathy for people's problems. Because again, people don't buy from the best companies. They buy from the companies who understand them best. And finally, the third secret is find your audience's campfires. Have you ever noticed that one-on-one, like cold calling, interacting, can be a little intimidating for people? And if you get a yes in a one-on-one setting, you sometimes feel like, I don't know if they meant that. Like, I think they might've just been saying yes to make me go away. Anybody else ever felt that way? Because in my sales life, there have been plenty of times where people say yes, and I know, yeah, they're just saying yes because they want me to shut up and go away. Like, they're just trying to tell me what I want to hear. How you overcome that is you don't always have to go to the one-on-one setting. You go to the group. You find the campfires in their life that they are gathered around, and you tell them stories in a group. You're witnessing this play out right now. This is your campfire. And the Goddards were so kind to let me, an outsider, come and join you and tell you these stories. And because of that invitation, I borrow credibility from the Goddards. Before this, none of you knew who I was. None of you had any reason to listen to anything I have to say or trust anything that I have to say. But because I came into an environment that you're already comfortable in, your campfire, there's 15 people on this call that immediately have a little bit higher interest in what I have to say than if you would have, if I'd come to you in a one-on-one situation. So if you've got someone that you got your eye on, that you want to give an opportunity to, that you want to reach out to, tell a story to, find the campfires. Where are they hanging out? Which groups do they already affiliate with and trust? And insert yourself there. Ask for an opportunity to come tell a story. And you will find that your number of opportunities increases dramatically. The reason this is so powerful to me, guys, the reason that I'm so passionate about this is because several years ago, I got the opportunity to speak on a stage at a large conference in Phoenix, Arizona. And when I got down, my boss at the time, he came over to me after and he said, Zach, you were born for this. And I believe that every single person on this call, every entrepreneur, every human being deserves to have that moment where the universe taps you on the shoulder and says, you were born for this. The sad reality, though, is that too many of us never get to experience that moment simply because we don't know how to communicate what we do. We don't know how to tell a story that makes other people care about it. If you can learn to tell that story, though, you too can have that moment where you hear, you were born for this. So the next time somebody asks, what do you do? You've got two options. You can say, I am a fill in the blank with your title. Or you can say, well, let me tell you a story. And if you do that, everybody else will drown in the sea of sameness, and you will be the victor of that narrative war. That is how you win. That's my message for you today.
Wow. Zach, thank you so much. So grateful for such powerful principles. As you're sharing some of your stories and so many great case studies of when and where storytelling wins, it just it reminds me, so often we get sucked into that sea of sameness, right? Like where we think, oh, if I just have a better logo or a better social media presence, as if, somehow these technicalities actually make a difference. And the fact is, it's stories that win. Like we took our family to Disney World, and we stood in line for the second time for 3 hours to ride the Avatar ride. And I'm like anyone could build a machine that makes you, move around in the exact same way and see the exact, 3D imagery that they're showing me. Why am I standing in this line with thousands of other people? Because they told a story. And that story moved these people to want to be a part of that story. And so I'm so grateful for you and you're sharing these principles, because, all of us want to have an impact, right? We all want to make a difference. And what you've given us here, I think, is the roadmap to have that kind of impact, to move people, to inspire them, to help them take action and change their lives. So thank you so much, Zac.
Thank you. It's my absolute pleasure. I appreciate you allowing me the space to share this with you.
Oh, it's a treat.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Go ahead. Sorry. You go ahead.
Yeah. No, I saw a few questions come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On those, Zac, the ones that are relevant to you, and we'll do connecting.
You want me to address, is that what you said, address the comments, the questions in the chat? Is that what you said?
Well, I saw some comments that were really, really specific, like, have you heard of Ann Webb's programs? And have you heard of this worksheet in the Empowered Success library? And my guess is you probably haven't. These are really, really specific to kind of our industry and our local market. I just love, it's, as you're sharing, Zac, my brain is just firing with how I can do a better job. I mean, just give you one example. I just got a proposal last week to build some online sales funnels, especially to sell MetaPower, right?
Mm.
And it's 15 grand up front, but then it's 5 grand a month in ad spend, right? Like spending Facebook ads and YouTube ads and all the ads, right?
Classic. Yeah.
And I'm listening to you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need to stop chasing those shiny objects and just come back to simple, powerful storytelling. Like if I can just just take the self-discipline that I know I need to just think through, okay, what are the problems that doTERRA solve for me? And which story is the best one to tell? Some are going to be mine and some aren't, and that's okay. But if I can just be the storyteller, then I will do 1,000 times more good than any sales funnel ever will. Obviously, sales funnels that use storytelling do a bang up job, right? They kick it out of the park. But the proposal that I got was not based on storytelling. It was part of the sea of sameness. So anyways, I hope that all of you are having similar ideas about how I can get my storytelling game on, how I can take, this is diamonds above, right? These are people who have had years and years of experience with doTERRA's products, with the business. So each of us has a library of content that we could draw on to tell stories. So anyways, I don't know if anybody has other questions for Zac, but I think that answers the two that I saw come through. Ron says, do you have a simple tell your story checklist? I mean, I think you told us the 3 parts that are.
Yeah. I went over the 3 key moments framework. I do. Yeah. I have a framework literally called How to Tell a Story. It's broken up into 5 parts, which is the purpose of your story, the prompt for your story, preparing the structure, and practicing and publishing. I do have that. happy to share that with anybody. Is it okay if I put a link in the chat, Andy, to let people go and grab that? I don't want to be overly promotional on you if that's not the right venue. But I do have a framework I can share with you guys on that. Looks like he's frozen, so I'll give him a moment.
Sorry, it sounds like you offered some resources that sound amazing. I think, yes, we would love that.
Sure. Yeah,
My internet cut out, so.
that's right. I'll just put I just put a link there in the chat. That's a link to join my newsletter. It's semi-daily, which means semi-daily is a really fancy way of saying I'm not committed to a particular day or time. So it's when the inspiration strikes. Great tactic, by the way. Semi-daily newsletter called The Storytelling Habit. You guys put your email there and I'll send you the, just reply to the welcome email with, hey, Zac, saw you on the doTERRA call today. And I'll send you the How to Tell a Story framework. Something I only usually share with my clients, but happy to share that with all of you. You're right. I haven't heard of Ann Webb. I've not heard of Life Vision, but I'm going to go look it up now. I'm definitely going to go down that rabbit hole. Let's see.
Other resources besides your email that they can pop into if they want to learn more,
Yeah.
Zac?
I recommend a couple of books that are out there. There's a book literally called How to Tell a Story. It's by The Moth. The Moth is an organization that puts on storytelling events, and they wrote this book. It's tremendous. The other book, I'm sure many of you have probably heard of Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. That's sort of the, like, you know, that's like the basic principles everybody should know. And then those are the main two books that I really love, like the ones I just read on repeat. I'm more of a read the same books over and over again than read 100 different books. I find it helps me be much more focused. Yeah, Donald Miller's course and programs are excellent. That's I did that about 5 years ago. It's brilliant. And then the last thing, this is going to sound silly, but my storytelling abilities went to another level when I started watching comedians seriously. Not just as like a entertainment thing, but I learn a lot from watching comedians because the stakes are so incredibly high. Like, think about it, you guys, no music, no background dancers, no, just you, the mic, and the audience. The best comedians are extremely gifted storytellers. So this last spring, I think I did 5 speaking events at events across the country. And before each one, I had the same 3 comedians on my playlist, and I watched routines by them over and over and over again on repeat, because it just got me in the headspace of, it got me in this very relaxed, conversational, story-minded position. Whereas most people who go to give a presentation, it's very buttoned up and stiff. But watching comedians really helped me be in this loose, entertaining, fun frame of mind to tell great stories.
Who did you watch? What were
I
the 3?
watched- The 3 were Nate Bargatze. Love Nate Bargatze. He's hilarious. The second was, and I did this on the middle seat in an airplane one time, so my seatmates had a great time watching me laugh. Was what's his name, guys? The
Brian Regan?
Brian Regan.
Brian?
Not Brian Regan. The other guy. I always confuse Brian Regan and this guy. Holy cow! Why is this? He always makes fun of his weight. White hair. Jim Gaffigan. Yes. Yeah. Nate Bargatze, Jim Gaffigan. And then I don't watch Dave Chappelle's comedy specials because that's just like I'm not comfortable with that style of humor. But Dave Chappelle has a special on Netflix called What's in a Name. And it's not a stand-up routine. It's an acceptance speech for when they tried to name a school after him. And it's brilliant, beautiful storytelling. It's not a stand-up routine, so you don't have to go through the raunchy humor, but it is really, really just great storytelling, going through his whole upbringing. I watched that one a dozen times this spring preparing for my speaking gigs, because he just has a way with narrative control and relating to the audience and taking small moments and making them feel really emotional and powerful. So I don't really get into his comedy too much, but I loved that speech he gave. It was really powerful. those are my three go-tos for comedy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Tips.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zach. So grateful for your time and for your talents and just sharing them with us today.
Absolutely.
Thanks
It's my pleasure.
Isn't it powerful when one person lives their truth? Here's Zach living his truth in storytelling. And as we all choose to live our truth and lean into that, wherever it takes you, whether it's watching comedians to be the best at your craft, you know, and we as solutions providers, whatever it is, your gifts, your passion, your purpose is, dial in and go deeper, and you'll make that impact that you were meant to make in the world. We're so excited for each of you, for the teams that you lead, for the places that you have influence. It's so amazing to think of the possibility that just your story can make on your team and those you are meant to lead that are still coming to you, that are still seeking to find you. I love what happens when that story goes out. You send out, it's like a radio station, right? And you're tuned into your story and you're sending a clear message with your story. And when people tune into that, they can totally connect, and you'll find the people that you're meant to work with and be attracted to them. Allie, we're going to take a couple things and then wrap.
Yeah, so I had a question. Thank you. This is really inspiring. And I just reviewed my target, my message again, which I try to do at least once a year. And whenever I get to this exercise, I think, okay, am I supposed to be writing my emails as though I'm writing to my target audience, even though my people on my emails, it hasn't been, because I wasn't targeted when I started doTERRA, and the majority of my people, well, maybe they are like me, but I just have had that question a number of times in my mind.
That's a great question. So you're saying, hey, since I'm sending this message out to my customer base, and that's a little different than who I think my target market is now, should I have a different message? Great question. Maybe Zach, we'll take a little bit of input from you as far as from that story perspective, and then anyone else, we'd love to hear your input in the chat as well.
It's hard to say without testing the reaction, right? I think that anybody who says, oh yeah, this is the formula, just do this, this, and this, right? And your message will be perfect. It doesn't really ever work, you know, like to Andy's point with the sales funnel thing. I kind of chuckle when you said 15,000 up front, 5,000 a month. I'm like, oh, the classic proposal, you know, like I got a couple of those just in the last few months, right? Like, and I'm not even in the same industry. So there really is no one size fits all formula, you know. I go back to the point, you don't have to be smart enough to manipulate them. You have to be sincere enough to move them. And I think whatever story is sincere and gets at the heart of why you want to communicate with that audience, it will resonate. Don't worry too much about, well, here's my story for this group and here's my story for that group. I've told that motorcycle helmet story to a dozen different groups. And there are ways to sort of like tweak your story to make it feel relevant. You know, you'll notice I did that throughout the presentation when I said service-based businesses, education-based businesses, and I kind of related it to you guys as, here's a way that you can relate to a traditional education-based business, right? There are ways to take the same story and just tweak it a little bit so that it fits that audience, to focus on a particular moment in the story that will be relevant to that audience. So don't overthink the technicalities, just be sincere in how you share it, and people will feel that.
I love that.
Thank you.
I think when we show up to serve, right? We show up to move people, to share our heart. Then things shift and they feel it, right? So powerful. Any other questions? Yeah, Lassen.
Hold on, I gotta put this hand thing down. It's not really a question, but I just want to say thank you because I really like the new, like what you were teaching about the change and the decision and the consequence. I feel like one thing that for me is I'm like dog tired of my story, telling my story. I'm so tired of like going into the sob story and like, you know, I mean, we had a great story and our story was really one of the things that really moved the needle in the beginning. But oh my gosh, if I have to tell it one more time, I just want to like barf, you know, it's been 14 years and I'm grateful for my story, but like, I just feel like the formula that you just gave is like such a great new way to look at like the same data and
Mhm.
and but make it more about them too. That's the other thing is I'm so tired of talking about myself. I don't want to talk about myself anymore. So I feel like there's a whole new way in those three little words that you just gave us and the
Mhm.
viewpoint shift. I just feel like there's like 5 million ways to like move all the things around or something. You know what I mean? It's just really cool. So I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm just excited to explore, you know, it's like Brian was bringing my husband was bringing up the, you know, like those movies where there's like a big screen on the wall and then there's like you get to move stuff around, like I don't know, those high-tech movies. I just feel like I'm kind of saying this again now, I'm being redundant, but I just feel like now we can like look at the whole thing and just with those things,
Mm.
you know, kind of like shape shift, but per person, you know, I feel like it's like simple enough that it's just applicable at any time, at dinner, at that 3-hour line that Andy was talking about at Disney World. We can like pull up those three things and talk about the change, the decision, the consequence, and like really tailor to that person. So I'm just excited.
Well said. Well said. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love it.
I wish I
I
could stay longer. I
You're
got to
great.
jump, but thank
Thank
you both so much. We'll see ya.
Awesome lesson. I think the important thing there is like when you have this new model, you can just plug into that. And then when we're doing it right, it won't make us want to barf, right? That's so beautiful. Is like when we're
Sorry to
doing
be so.
this. Oh no, that's true. And I think all felt that way. So how powerful to get the model right, you know?
Good to go.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
you for providing
So-
this.
You guys, let's practice this month and come back with some success stories at the beginning of next month. We're going to do a quick call next month as we're getting ready to go into convention week. It'll just be a quick call on this and a little bit of like, okay, what kind of gathering, what are your intentions for your gatherings as you come together? But in this month, remember that this is your key time to bring any other people in that are meant to be at convention with you. So we have one experienced doTERRA. It's a couple weekends out, the 18th of August, and we have a Train to Silver retreat then. By the way, we need to do more follow-up on the Train by Rank retreats, but we are seeing rank breakthrough by these people every time. It's so cool to see, whether it's a couple months down the road that they're getting to their next rank or just literally right then. So we're loving what's happening there and just want to make sure that you and your people have that as a resource and you can plug into it as you need. And then for convention week, Andy, can you pull up that just so you guys know how to get to it? And it's sharesuccess.com/convention. So as we look at that, you've got a resource there that you can share with your people so that they can see the week at a glance. And then you've got the printable calendar that people can download right there. Okay. Just highlighting a couple of things there. Our global rank retreat is Monday and Tuesday. That's held at our home and event center. The first day, Monday, is all together. And that's gonna all be down in our event space. And we've got an incredible lineup coming for that day. And then Tuesday are the breakouts, where we'll be broken out by rank and getting more specific and dialing into any breakdown or new things that you need to see or going next level. So rank specific training like we had before. Some of you that were at or Southtown Center or Salt Palace before, same kind of rank trainings. And then right following that, we have a diamond reception. So we'll roll right into a diamond reception. If you're in town on Tuesday night, we'd love to have you over and just reconnect. And before everybody's, on to their own things and making the magic happen there. So just so you guys know, there was some people that didn't get our code. So these rank retreats for going to the 2-day, we put up there a $200 price tag, right? So that people would get the value of it. And if people want to come that are outside of our team, they would pay $200. But for your teams, use the GROW code, and they're coming for $80 for both days, or is it $40 a day? Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong, so that everybody should be using that GROW code, and we want to make sure that's getting down the road to your people, okay? A powerful way, they're going to get that rank specific training, they'll get a guide and lunch both days and taking care of all of that. So get whoever else you need to convention, do whatever it takes to move them through your story and possibilities or someone else's story, so that you can start this new year that we begin at convention every time. You guys are going to be so amazed by the new product offering and the new energy that's coming with it. More practical, like life-changing stuff. So love you. So excited to be together there and go next level. See you soon.
Natalie, the dates you quoted are different than the ones that are on the website for Experienced doTERRA.
Yeah, it's August 25th, 26th.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to
Thank
make
you
sure
for
there wasn't a
that
change.
in the chat.
Sorry
Okay,
about that.
much.
Yeah, that was my memory. Thank you so much for clarifying. Love you guys. Ciao.